Hi and welcome along to AFTV Transfer Daily, the show that keeps you up to date with players that have been linked with a summer transfer move to Arsenal. First of all, just before we get into the transfers, it was the funeral yesterday of Jose Antonio Reyes, of course, ex-Arsenal player, only 35 years of age, who sadly passed away at the weekend, died in a car crash over there in Spain. He was buried in Sevilla yesterday, and very, very sad scenes. For a guy so young, still playing, remember, and very sad occasion. I think the funeral was attended by Unai Emery, who of course knew Reyes very well for his time at Sevilla, where he won the Europa League 3 times with him. And really, really sad news. Jose Antonio Reyes, of course, an invincible at Arsenal, and laid to rest yesterday. Now, time to get into the rumours. The big rumour going around today concerns our star player, Golden Boot winner, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He has been linked with a move to 2 clubs in China, Guangdong Evergrande and also Shanghai SIPG, are said to be both willing to pay him up to £300,000 a week. Now, he's currently on about £190,000 a week at Arsenal. As we know, Golden Boot winner, top goal scorer at the club. As a matter of fact, since he's come in at Arsenal, he's got an excellent record. He's scored 41 goals in 65 appearances. Now, 29 years of age, so he's not getting any younger. We paid £56 million for him. The question is, I suppose some people are going to be asking, is do we sell him and cash in on him? Because surely if Arsenal did want to sell him, they're going to want more than the £56 million that they paid for him. And these clubs in China might be willing to pay it. For me, it's an absolute no-brainer. We keep Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. He's one of our best players, if not the best player, Golden Boot winner, one of the only shining lights in a really poor season, really. You've got to say how it ended up last year. I know he didn't have the greatest of times in the final of Europa League, but he did, his goals helped us to get us there, a hat-trick in the semi-final, consistently scoring goals since he's come to Arsenal, and for me, a top-quality player. There have been some people out there who've cast a bit of doubt on Aubameyang, saying that he should be more clinical. He's the Golden Boot winner. All right, maybe he could have scored more. I'm sure him himself, as being a very critical person, as all strikers are, will look on it and say, I should have had more goals. But he's been doing the business in front of goal for Arsenal. He's not a player that we can really heavily fault. Now, I was having a discussion with somebody today who was saying to me, yeah, but Robbie, he's 29. Should Arsenal cash in? I'm fed up of this should we cash in thing. If we've got quality players, this is my opinion, if we've got quality players, we've got to hang on for them for dear life, especially now. This age thing, which is a thing that's kind of been ingrained in us since the days of Arsene Wenger, where he always used to get rid of a player if he was over 30. For me, that no longer stands up. Age is a number if the player is good enough. You look at some of the top players around at the moment, look at their age. Ronaldo, was he 33, 34 years of age? He's just won player of the season in Italy in his first season. Messi talking the other day about how they've missed him in La Liga, right? Does he look like, a 30-odd-year-old player? He's still got it. Messi's about 32. Lewandowski, top goal scorer again in Germany, 31. Aguero, he's 31. So to me, if the players are still delivering, the age thing, I'm sorry, we've got to start hanging on to our best players. And for me, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang is absolute quality. Going around last year in the league, and visiting various different teams. Every time I spoke to a fan of opposition clubs and I said to them, what are you worried about today? It would be Aubameyang and Lacazette. So we've got to hold on to these quality players. But, I'm going to put it to you guys. Let's do a poll on it. Would you cash in on Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, get that money in and try and invest in other players? Or for you, Do you keep hold of him? These are sort of quality players that we should be building our squad around. Would really, really love to hear from you. Rumours as well coming out of Italy that Arsenal have made a bid for 2 Sampdoria players. Now, apparently, Arsenal are interested in signing these 2 players from Sampdoria. The first one is Dennis Pratt. He's a central midfielder, 25 years of age, Belgium international, seen as a possible replacement for Aaron Ramsey. He can play as a creative midfielder. He can also play out wide, a very versatile player. Arsenal have been linked before with Pratt. In fact, last season we were heavily linked with him. And of course, there's the connections with Sampdoria. Of course, that's where we got Lucas Torreira from. So it looks like Arsenal looking to go back in there and rave there. Or will they go for this other player? He's a centre-back who plays for Sampdoria. His name is Joachim Andersen. Centre-back, 22 years of age, Danish international. Again, pretty versatile player because he's a centre-back, but he can also play as a defensive midfielder as well. Which incidentally, we've got that with Callum Chambers, who can do that as well, can't we? Callum Chambers, who last year played excellently for Fulham in that defensive midfielder role and can also play as a centre-back. By the way, what are we going to do with Callum Chambers? That's going to be a really interesting one as well. But these 2 players heavily linked with a move with Arsenal today. As I said, both players Arsenal said to have made a bid for. You know, that's just a rumour at the moment. But those are the rumours coming out of Italy. Sometimes some of the sources out of Italy can be a bit dodgy. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with this one. Remember yesterday we did a poll on this about Mesut Ozil. Do we keep him or do we get rid of him? I can give you the results of that poll, and it's unbelievable actually for Mesut Ozil, who's been one of our star players over the years, or is one of our star, our biggest earners and supposed to be one of our star players. 86% of you said yesterday that you get rid of him. Only 14% will keep him. That is an amazing stat to me for Ozil, who's always been a favourite of the fans, but it looks like the fans are really sort of had enough of Mesut Ozil if you go off of that poll. Now, what about Thomas Meunier? We've spoken a lot about him over the past few days, being linked with Arsenal. Excellent player, plays at right back for PSG. He's really been a reliable player. Unai Emery said to be really interested in signing him, as are Manchester United. Now, he told a news outlet yesterday when asked about the move, he said that I want to stay. He said, we've been talking about a contract extension for a while, but there's no offer on the table anymore. I'm ready to stay in Paris. Everybody knows. So that's interesting that he wants to stay at PSG. However, also what's interesting about that is that he said there's no offer on the table, which would suggest that PSG may be willing to sell him. It looks like 2 places he could end up, Manchester United or Arsenal. I think it would be a good signing for Arsenal. He's an experienced player. We're definitely going to need a player at right back because for me, obviously Bellerin, he was having a great season before he got injured. How will he come back? How long is it going to take him to adjust and to get back to full fitness? And then also you want him to be pushed in that area, because you want somebody who's going to come in there and push him. And Meunier is a quality player. So we're going to have to keep our eyes peeled to see what happens with that one. We know, of course, that Stefan Leitner is definitely leaving. He made it official yesterday, said his farewells and goodbyes to the team, and also sent a message to the fans. I quote, he goes, I loved to be part of this club. It was a great challenge and experience without a happy ending, unfortunately. And Stefan Leitner, as we know, is now leaving the club. 35 years of age. Didn't work out for Leitner at Arsenal. Really didn't work out. I actually thought when he came in, when we took him on that season-long loan, I thought that was a really shrewd move by Arsenal. I thought to myself, he'd come in, he'd do a good job. He'd done well over the years at Juventus, but just didn't work out for him. He just didn't look the player that he was at Juventus, and Leitner has now officially moved on. Now, Arsenal linked with his forward now, who's coming out of Morocco. Moroccan international Youssef El Nasri. He's Moroccan, as I said, 22 years of age, plays for Les Jeunes over there in La Liga, and he's a forward. Now, he scored 11 goals in 34 appearances last season, which isn't too bad. Young player, about to play in the African Cup of Nations for Morocco, and Morocco have got some very, very good players, as we've seen Ziyech at Ajax. He's been heavily linked with a move to Arsenal. Seems to be a lot of it being talked up by his agent, and you always got to be very wary of that, because listen, agents are trying to talk up their players to get them really, really good moves. That's their job to do. But could Arsenal be interested in him? Of course, we know that Danny Welbeck is another player that is leaving Arsenal, and if we've got Aubameyang and Lacazette, we're going to need a third striker. Could he be that person? Could he be the replacement for Aubameyang if we sold him? God, it would be a disaster to sell Aubameyang in my view, but I'd really, really love to hear from you guys. Listen, thank you for watching today. Keep subscribing to AFTV. We are closing in on 1 million subscribers. That is awesome. Thank you very much for that. Really, really do appreciate that. And keep it locked here each and every day for AFTV Transfer Daily, the original.